Hello, Scott at Aquascapes ATX. Doing a quick video here on drying eggplant. When you get towards the end of the season especially, or if you're using Chinese eggplant, they can be pretty small. And we do mix eggplant into pasta and soups, but I'm not super excited about the texture of eggplant in any dish. It's like I'll eat it, but so one thing I have started doing is actually drying it in, and I'll turn around here and show you things. So here's a air dryer. It's got a timer and temperature control, so it's really easy to use, and it's got a whole stack of trays. There's my eggplant I'm about to dry, and here's some eggplant I've dried in the past. This is a very simple process. You just slice it up, stack the slices in the dryer, and then you let it run, and I'll go 12 hours, but it probably doesn't take quite that long, but you want to get it nice and dry. And then these you can put in whole, you can rehydrate in some water or chicken broth, or actually you can just crumble it up. When it's dry like this, it crumbles pretty easy, it goes into a powder. And you could actually throw it in a blender or a spice grinder if you wanted as well. I think it's probably more effort than it's worth. I just crumple it in my hands, and you're putting it in a soup or a sauce, kind of at the beginning. It'll really rehydrate in that sauce or in that soup and act as a good thickening agent, and actually adds a lot of good nutritional value. Eggplant's full of fiber, vitamins, minerals, high in potassium. There's a whole, you can look it up as well as I can roll it off. But there's a bunch of really good minerals and antioxidants in eggplant. Like I say, I'm not super excited about eating chunks of eggplant. This is an eggplant parmesan that's got a bunch of breading and cheese on it. That tastes a lot better, but probably not that healthy. But when you grind it up, chip it up into little tiny pieces and incorporate it in a soup or a sauce, now you can get all those health benefits, and and it's a nice thickener, but it's a much more pleasant way to eat it. So I'll flip around here and show you. I'm not sure if this is worth videoing or not. It's not really not that complicated. But you'll peel off the stem, and you don't have to go very far in. All that's good drying stuff. You just have to get the stem off, and this stuff you don't want to eat that greenery. So this one I could go a little more. And now we're just slicing them into slices. And you want to go, you have to get super crazy on it, but you don't want to get super thick. You want to have it thin enough that it's going to dry. So 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch. I wouldn't be too absolutely concerned on it. More than anything, you want to be consistent on your slice thickness, so that when you're drying it, they dry evenly. You don't have some that are over dried compared to others. But I'm not sure if that really hurts. So we can continue on that, and then the next step is throwing them in the dryer. And you can buy these at any kitchen store or online. You literally just stack them up. I don't throw any salt. I haven't even bothered to. A lot of times with eggplants, when you're prepping it for a food dish, you will coat it with salt and try and pull some of the bitterness out. But for doing making a powder like this to throw in soups and stuff, I don't worry about any of that. I think it's just there's not that much bitterness that's coming out of it. So let's rinse and repeat. Add the layer on there, slice them up, and add them in. So personal preference here. When they start getting super seedy like that, they can be bitter. That's really a personal preference. If you're worried about that, you want to harvest your eggplant young as possible when they feel a little soft. This is not going to kill you. It just can add a little more bitterness. So when they're like definite seeds like that, I usually skip those. And if that was all that was ready at the moment, but like I say, you don't want to let them get too far along because they just get more and more seedy. So this particular dryer is pretty straightforward. It starts with the hours, which I usually go 12. Then I take the temperature maybe up to 120 or so. 120, 130, I think either of those are fine. For 12 hours, you could probably stick with 120. And so in the morning, this will be about 6 a.m. since it's 5:50 now. That timer will go out, and you just pick them out and throw them in a bag like this, and then they're ready to be used at a later time. So the vegetable dryer has been running all night. This is later on in the morning. I'm going to harvest or take them out of the dryer. So I'm going to show you. There's a dryer. This batch was not all the way full, but you can see how they've dried, and they should be, really crispy. No, so basically, they'll just shatter when you grab them. It's pretty simple at this point. We were just unloading the dryer and putting them in a Ziploc bag. I think it would be good. I probably need to go buy some of those desiccant sacks you see in different food items to keep things. So here are some desiccants I bought online. They are actually reusable. They have directions if you look on the Amazon website on how to redo it, but it's basically bake it for a while at a low temperature. And you can see here I've added one in the bag. This is pretty common. You see in dried foods that they'll add a desiccant to absorb the moisture, which will lessen the ability of mold to grow on your food.